Hi, welcome to week 2 of my weight loss vlog. I lost another 3 pounds this week. I'm really excited about that. We had a trip out of town. That trip out of town was very fun. We got to see lots of family. As you know, when you go to visit family, it's kind of like Thanksgiving or Christmas, and your grandma's want to cook you food that's your favorite food, and it's really hard to stick to a diet when you are trying to have portion control, and they make you that southern fried potatoes that you've been really wanting for the last year since you had it the way your grandma made it, with all the grease. And that was really hard. I had to make some choices. I had to give up the dessert in order to justify having the potatoes, but we stuck really well to our diet together, my husband and I. And I did continue taking the Super HD Fire, and this is the non-stimulant version. However, I am considering maybe switching to the stimulant version because I am back to 2 cups of coffee. The one in the morning that I have is because I kind of have this thing where I now want warm coffee. I'll make cold brew coffee and then I'll kind of warm it up because in the morning I just feel like it helps get everything inside my body woken up, I guess. And in the afternoons, I noticed at work this last week especially, I just seemed a lot more tired, and it actually seemed like I was more full when I would have a cup of coffee. Of course, having a cup of soda has a similar feeling, but I felt like it lasted longer if I had a cup of warm coffee. It felt like having a warm meal, which is really nice, especially if you're limiting yourself to like a 100-calorie snack and that's not going to fill up the space of your stomach. Then I guess I could switch to tea. I don't know. I'm going to keep tweaking it, see how it goes. But I left my chromium out of state when we were traveling, so I didn't have chromium today, and I did feel a significant difference between meals. Like there's more urgency to get a snack, whereas before I feel like I could have gone longer and not even thought of eating, whereas today, like every few hours, I consciously thought, man, I feel like I'm not holding over till the next meal. And I did try to make good food choices as far as protein and eating things that would carry over and not eat calories that were heavy in carbs or sugars that would peak and then drop. But even so, I feel like it was easier to stay steady when I was taking chromium. So my plan is still to finish out the HD Fire stimulant-free month that I have of that supply, so 2 more weeks of that. And then I'm going to try going for a week on our diet without the HD Fire and just taking chromium. But I have to go get chromium again. And so I went to the store tonight and it was closed, and so I went to Kroger and I went to Target, and they each had bottles of chromium that were, I guess, comparably priced, but they were 800 and 1,000 micrograms, and my doctor recommended taking 1 to 200 micrograms, and I don't feel the need to take a higher dosage than my doctor recommended, so I just decided I'm going to do without. I'm going to pick it up tomorrow after work, and hopefully everything will hold over okay while I'm at work without the chromium. I don't have to, because I got to keep people alive at work, so I better stay alive. So, we'll see how I do with that. In the midst of these changes that I'm making to diet, I haven't been working out any extra. I may be more active on a shorter term basis, like taking more walks and stuff, but some of that's just to get away from food. Like, hey, let's get out of the house so that I'm not tempted to eat, but I don't want to overexert because I'm afraid if I exert too much then I might try to like be extra hungry and then binge on something, which I haven't done, and it's been 2 weeks, so we're doing good, and I don't want to mess it up. So far I'm down 8 pounds total in 2 weeks. So we'll see what the next week brings. I would like to mention, for future discussion and study, I was reading and watching some videos about these studies about how you can serve you burn the same amount of calories throughout the day, whether you're working out or not, and you burn a certain amount at rest and a certain amount during activity. And if you burn more during your activity, then you burn less when you're at rest. And so a lot of people will work out and then think, oh, hey, I burned 300 calories. I'm going to eat 300 calories more, and then sabotage themselves. And they're like, why am I gaining weight? Maybe it's muscle. But then your clothes don't really fit better, so maybe it's not. So my husband thinks that that idea that you burn less at rest is kind of sketchy, and so we need to look into that and see if that's actually supported by research, or if the research is somehow skewed as far as maybe people are just eating so much more because they were working out that it's hard to tell what they're actually burning at rest. So we'll have to look more into that. So don't take that as gospel or anything like that. It's just something we're discussing and musing over right now, and we're definitely not taking this from the approach of we're gonna work out extra hard and eat nothing and see how that goes. We're not doing it that way. We're really just consciously measuring everything that we eat and stopping right at 1,500 calories every day. Richard is a lot more diligent about counting exact amounts than I am. Once I find out what calories something is or what meals are, then I kind of generalize it in my head. And so if I find a pattern that's worked, like I have oatmeal for breakfast, I'll have say a hot dog and a bun and mustard for lunch, and then for supper I'll have what's the one that I had for supper? Say a grilled chicken sandwich with no fries. And I know that kept me within my calorie goal. I might just do the whole same thing the next day in order to not have to worry about it or think about it, or it's like I knew that worked for me, so I'm going to do it again. I like things that are repeatable. So sorry for rubbing my eyes so much. I'm just tired, and I got a haircut today, and I feel like some of the hairspray got in my eyes, so it's kind of irritating me. So have a wonderful night. I'll see you next week. Hopefully have more good news, and I'll let you know if I decided to switch to stimulant version of HD Fire or not. Okay, have a good week. Bye.